Hello, Mason here. I make a lot of videos on inexpensive meals, and today I'm going to be making a video on an inexpensive cut of meat. It is the drumstick. So I know a really easy recipe for this that tastes quite delicious, and I thought I would share it with you guys. So stay tuned. For this recipe, we're going to be using a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of paprika, half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper powder, and 3 tablespoons of olive oil, a bunch of drumsticks, and a plastic bag. So to begin the process, we're going to get our drumsticks into the plastic bag. And after touching a few of the drumsticks, I figured they were a little bit on the slimy side from the factory. So I decided to get some paper towel and dry them off. I think this is a good idea to do because some of these drumsticks can be a little slimy from the factory. So clean them up nice and good and then get them all in the bag. This is one of the steps that can be done to increase the crispiness factor of the skin of the chicken, so that's why I like doing it. And once we have them all in the bag, we can move on to our spice mix. So I'll get the bowl that I had the oil in, and then I'll add the spices to the bowl. Then we'll just mix up the spices. But one thing I should point out is that if you don't like spicy things, you can hold off on the cayenne pepper or reduce the amount of it. And I didn't think this was particularly spicy, but I know some people are very spice sensitive. And then we're going to dump our spices into the bag with the chicken. And not all the spices came out for me, so I added a little bit more oil to the bowl. Gave it a little bit of a stir, then dumped it in again, and that seemed to get rid of a lot more of the spices into the bowl. Now all we got to do is take our bag and zip it tight. Before mixing it, I started mixing it before zipping it, and then I got the spices in the zipper, and then it didn't really zip up very well, and that was kind of unfortunate. But you just keep rocking it around, and eventually all the chicken will be covered in our delicious blend of spices and seasonings, which is just fantastic. And once we're done with that, we can transfer our chicken onto a pan with parchment on it. That way it's a lot easier to clean up at the end. And then we're just going to position them so they're evenly spaced. It's not like we're making cookies, they don't expand when they cook, but they do cook more evenly when spaced out. And once we have our spacing set, we're going to get ourselves our black pepper, and we're going to crank some black pepper on top of the chicken. This will definitely enhance the flavor. And once we've had enough of black pepper, we'll move on to some salt. I'm just going to crack a little bit of salt on top as well, just for good measure. And we're just going to toss this in the oven now. We're going to cook it at 425 degrees, and we're going to cook it for about an hour. You can cook it less, it's probably done after 45, but chicken's one of those things that I like it kind of well done. It comes off the bone a little bit easier. And you can check it with a thermometer when you're done. So just get your thermometer in your biggest chunk of meat near the bone, and then just watch the gauge go up. And that's an easy way to tell if your meat is done. But like I said before, I like to kind of overcook it a little bit, because then the meat really comes off the bone really good. And this is the type of meat, this particular cut, the dark cuts near the bone, you can usually cook them quite a bit longer than is needed, and they come out just fine. It's a hard cut to burn. So that's the end of this one. So let me know in the comments below how you cook your drumsticks and any fancy sauces you use for them. And if you like my content and would like to see more of it, please like and subscribe. And until next time, stay awesome.